Good evening, everybody. This is System Chalk. Thank you very much for coming out tonight. It's Friday. I'm enjoying some unusually strong tea, but I'm very happy about that because I like strong tea. Very tiring day today, but I'm looking forward to streaming, especially because I suppose this is a time for a shout out to EXP Restaurant and Bar, where I went to a presentation with some local streamers. Met a bunch of wonderful people and streams that are actually very fun to watch. If I can learn how the hosting feature will work, I'll try and maybe host one of them later tonight. And just generally got my enthusiasm back up for streaming. So we'll do Dungeon of the Endless again. I'm still working on character unlocks, so even though we won last broadcast, I'll still do very easy because I've noticed there's one character that is eluding me. And every time I've gotten her, it's been on an easy game, i.e. the normal difficulty, and she dies. So, in the name of completeness and my obsessive personality, I'm going to do another very easy run, at least until I get this character unlocked, and then we can start going into something a little bit more savory. So let's jump into it. I also apologize for the drop frames at the beginning. One of the reasons why I had the extended music at the start. In addition to the fact, I should give credit, that's the Civilization Beyond Earth soundtrack, Jeff Knorr, Destroyer. I needed to figure out what was causing the drop frames, so I believe I have found the culprit, and we can move on from there. So, there is a guide for this game, which I've written already, but I think it's probably just still worth it to talk a little bit about what decisions I'm making and why. I am definitely going to continue on with my strategy of having at least one support character building up resources. And for that, I think I'm going to go all in this particular case, and I will pick the hero that you actually get through getting the, I suppose, the premium or the founder version of this game. Professor John Tello, who has actually a fun little bit of lore around him. But is also just a hero who I believe has the highest wit gain, and so is a long-term investment. I also need somebody who's a little more combat oriented. Now I haven't quite figured out who my favorite is yet. I think Scroig is actually quite fun. An alternative that I could try as well is I could do a very resource heavy beginning. And I could go for a character like Max. I'd maybe be a little hesitant to do somebody like Warden Mormish just because he's so slow. I mean, it would be a fantastic wit gain. But if I compare Max and Warden, I mean, it's not perfect, but Max at least gives me some combat, whereas the Warden, again, is a little too slow for moving. Actually, you know what? We're doing very easy. Let's try a John and Warden. Yeah, let's try John and Warden. So this is probably not going to be a very good educational run, except maybe how not to play this game. But I'm interested to see how it turns out. It's probably the time for experimentation. Another delightful thing that happened was they recently patched this game. So I suspect the exploit that I found last session is not going to be there anymore. But they've added windowed mode, and another wonderful feature is you can finally change your key bindings. I'm not going to, but I think that's wonderful because I know the tutorial gives you some key commands that aren't actually correct. So, kind of nice that you can correct them yourself now. So for those who are unfamiliar with the game, the idea of powering a room is so it stops spawning monsters, also so I can build these food replicators. I am going to continue on with my normal strategy of doing food primarily and then transitioning into something. And the reason for that is I think that heroes in this game are sort of your long-term investment in the success of in the dungeon. And so if you take care of your heroes, they're going to become more survivable. And the idea is that you don't waste all of your time on food, because at some point you're going to need to build some defensive structures to keep your heroes alive. But like, there is going to be a point where even the strongest hero isn't going to be able to survive on their own. But especially on very easy, the first few floors are, I hesitate to say it, but almost trivial. So, I mean, of course, I'm going to get punished for saying that, I know. But the idea here is that I'm going to take advantage of the relative simplicity of the original floors. And I think I'm going to hold off and wait for the viral injector in this case. I'm going to take advantage of the fact that I don't need to build that many defensive structures on the early floors and just put that entirely towards my heroes. I'm also going to get really greedy and see if I can build another food replicator. No, I can't. Okay, so I have 5 doors open. There's usually 15 floors open. These things will generate 3 foods, 30 for 3 food. So if I have 10 more... This doesn't quite pay for itself because I'm going to have to build it in another turn, but I think I'm still going to go for it, especially because John should have his operate now. Yeah. So in this case, it's an absolute ultra greed run that I'm going to be doing here, and I'm going to build another food replicator here. It's actually going to be very tough because John's not going to be there to defend it. I don't want to waste a turn of his production moving to the new location, but we'll go for it. This should give me a really strong start and sort of compensate for how slow the Warden is. I also really shouldn't be upgrading him at that point, but I'm not too scared of him dying. Well, maybe I should be. The one drawback to the Warden is that where normally, let's say, you'd be able to... How do I put this? Normally you're able to sort of kite things in between rooms. And I know with the Warden, because he moves so slow, that isn't quite as viable. But, I mean, he has a relative degree of strength, so I'm not really going to panic that much about it. I am short on science, but I mean, I'm not going to really be able to research anything else on this floor anyway, so... I've got 11 and 9, so that's a difference of 2 DPS. You know, I think I'll hang out for a bit. This merchant probably isn't going to die in the next couple of turns, and I can decide what I want to do after. One drawback with the Warden right now is that the War Profiteer isn't that helpful because he's the only one fighting. I will maybe try to do it when I knock one of these things down really low, though. It's probably not that much worth it, but I figure every little bit helps. So let me see what my options are as far as science goes. I don't want to throw something away. Oh, see, food replicator is really good. But I'm not going to be able to afford it on this floor at all, so I think I'm going to go for the nail gun, just so, again, just that idea of putting some heavy investment in my heroes to start off with. And hopefully I'll just make it through to a point where I'll be able to afford that. I mean, at 3 science a turn, I'm basically going to be waiting 2 floors to be able to unlock that food module, but could be worse, I suppose. Ideally, I'm not going to let the merchant just die. These things are pretty trivial too, so... Sorry for some of the weird camera work too, I'm just getting a little used to the windowed mode. Yeah, I mean, this first few floors are fairly straightforward. I think maybe now would be just a good time to articulate what the game is. It's, I mean, it would definitely fall under the roguelike category. I like the fact that it is pretty eclectic when it comes to its genres. I mean, it has some tower defense elements inside of it. I'm not a huge tower defense guy either, but I think it has just enough to make it interesting. The permanent death feature is a, you know, it's probably the defining element that would would categorize it as a roguelike if you can. I don't think difficult immediately makes something a roguelike, and very easy at times can be very easy. I think they got the difficulty balance right, which is the normal mode of the game is designed for people who don't feel the need to win every game that they play. I think I'll get Max his pistol. This is such a bad decision because I know I have a food replicator 3, but I think getting a 6-gun for Max is a good idea. Oh no, this is for John, what am I saying? Anyways, having 2 strong characters is not a bad idea. Yeah, so the idea is the unit of time will come from opening rooms. Every room you open, you generate some of your food and your industry and things like that. And each time you open a room, there's a chance of monsters spawning in all the darker rooms, which is why I'm trying to light up as much as I can. One of the strategies that I employ is to try and just have one long unbroken string, because in the end, like let's say I lit this room, something could spawn here, 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 or here. I hope the cursor's showing up, but basically all the darkened rooms. So this represents a bit of a choke point. Now, the strategy doesn't work as well with the Warden, because the Warden is just so slow and moving. This merchant is not going to live through any encounters. Although apparently it's a moot point because I've gotten to the end. Spare mag. So normally I would hate this item on the Warden because his wit goes down. But at the moment, he's not going to be working any of these machines. So at this point, I think the best thing I can do here is power down the rooms I can. So basically this means in my defense, I'm only going to need to worry about these 2 rooms. I think it's probably better for me to keep the Warden at the, in the intersection. And John is my faster mover. He's going to be encumbered by the crystal, but the objective of each floor is to basically pick up the crystal and make it to the exit in one piece. This is going to be a tricky one because where I need to go is where all the enemies are spawning, and I sort of foolishly used my food to level up the Warden, where in reality I'm probably going to need to be healing him. Actually, I think he is taking quite a bit of damage. So we'll share the misery and John can tank things for a little bit. I only need to get to the same room with both characters, so it doesn't matter if these guys are taking damage. Oop, this is going to be very close. There we go. Yeah, it would suck if I lost it here. So that was the risk of starting off with these 2 support heroes. One thing I didn't do was pick 2 heroes that have a little bit of backstory. You can actually get buffs by having certain characters beside each other. But the whole purpose of this run is to unlock characters, so in this case here I'm just doing a greedy run. I'm seeing how far I can get with 2 support heroes, and ideally, I mean the whole point is to unlock a character, so if I don't run into any others, I haven't built myself for these 2 guys to get through on their own. That is the hero I want. So now I need to take things a little more seriously, but I'm still gonna build. I'm still gonna build up as many food modules as I can, simply because I need to be able to afford this hero. Actually, what would be really smart is to move them back here, and then just use my war profiteer. Doesn't look like I got any money for that, but it's fine. So the nice thing about this is I can use the noob to explore rooms. Now again, it's a little risky given the fact that I want her to survive the number of floors that it'll take to unlock her. But she is a combat-oriented hero, and both of these guys are really good at building up food. And so you know, as I really don't want to put this person into too much danger, but it is going to be, this is her role. I'd really like to put the 2/2 on her, actually, yeah, especially with 10 defense versus 4, I'm just going to save the food. I should have that next turn anyway, so having a fast-moving hero that goes between the rooms is pretty much ideal. So I'm actually going to be foregoing some of these. I'm going to be foregoing some of the levels on her just because the 2/2 is so good. I suspect this, you know, enormous badass of a hero would probably object to wearing such a garment, but why is it? Oh my god. I should have been paying attention. She can't wear armor. That sucks. Okay, well, that's not a total loss because I can just put a 2/2 on. No, don't sell. Okay, so I just wasted a bunch of food. Nice. I was gonna put that on the warden. Oh well. It's very easy mode. Oh, that was a quick exit. So it'd be really cool to upgrade my support heroes, but in this case, Ellie needs to survive, and she's going to be my door opener. So in this case here, I'm going to put all the food I can into upgrading her. I'm probably not going to come back to that merchant, although I'll maybe revisit that when I get through the entire dungeon. Alright. I also need to keep an eye on my science, because on the very odd chance that this is an absolutely enormous level, it'd be great to build that extra food replicator. I think it gives me 5? Yeah. So that's 2 food per turn, plus the extra food that I'm getting. Oh, you know what? I need to take the spare mag off of Mormish. I'll give that to Elise. So what I was doing, because I was careless with Warden Mormish, I was dropping my food production, and I was having an item that would be very good on the hero who's my combat-oriented one. So I was really hurting myself in 2 ways that way. But it's nice that the merchant isn't getting attacked. And I think I'm also going to use Armchair General just because it seems like he's taking quite a bit of damage. I actually quite like Elise. I was sorry to lose her on the runs that I needed, or that I gained her. Now I am going a little against my strategy by doing this. Ideally I would power up these 2 rooms, but I had a lot of industry, and it's nice to get just that extra food in so that I can bring everybody up to a high level quickly. I'm probably not going to do that for too many more rooms. Again, it'd be wonderful if I had more science. I'm not going to build a science module, it's a little late to do that. The one part that is going to be difficult now is I have my support in the back. Now it's nice because there's still going to be stuff that's spawning in this higher level here, but if Elise gets swamped, it's going to be very hard to defend my crystal, and I might need to move my support heroes away from the resources they're working. Oh, got the 2/2 anyway. It's frustrating. And it's not as good as the other one, but I'll put it on Mormish anyway. I sometimes like to be a little active in terms of how I move my heroes, but in this particular case here, there's not a lot of activity I can do, so I just get to enjoy my tea in between these combat scenarios. I like the idea of only having one area that they'll spawn from, so I'm going to take some power out and basically just give myself a buffer zone here. And I've got 10 doors open, which suggests to me there's only 5. What would it cost me for another replicator? 35 for 5 turns, 15 food. It's not really worth it, but I think I'll go for it anyway, just because ideally the monsters would attack this before they attack my crystal, so it gives me a little bit of extra buffer. This is probably not the wisest decision that I could make, but I am generating 8 industry a turn, so it's not that disastrous. These are, though, so I need to get them taken care of very quickly. And it looks like I'm going to take a lot of damage to my crystal with this. I really do not want to move my support heroes, though, so... Now, ideally she can kill them fast enough that I actually have more... Yep, okay, that paid off. Mormish is in a bit of trouble. Again, just getting the dust where I can. Skills in this game are actually very easy to forget to use. I tend to forget to use them quite a bit. But they are something that, when it comes to, let's say, an easy game, something that's on the regular difficulty, it can really mean the difference between a won and a lost run in certain situations. So, again, it's one of those sort of do as I say, not as I do situations. Again, I'm really trying to prioritize these crystals, but they're tough to chase down. You have no control over the priority with which your heroes attack things. These are definitely a high priority target just because they do damage your heroes, but I also don't want to lose my crystal. Mormish looks like he's got things under control, so I'm just going to have a welcoming party for these crystals. And fortunately, I've got some power, so I think what I'm going to do here, as much as I hate the idea of having stuff run through into the crystal room, I am actually going to completely power up this area here. I really don't like the idea of Mormish kind of fighting stuff on his own. And Elise is fairly decent in movement, so I'm always just going to move her back to this intersection no matter what happens. And that was a good call. So, again, this is a case where that thing is absolutely saving me. Unfortunately, it looks like the crystal's going to wind up taking a fairly heavy amount of damage. I do not want to have that other thing attacking my crystal, so I'll just accept a little bit of damage from these, and hopefully I'll mop them up quick. Yeah, I'm losing power, that sucks. Yeah, so that definitely wasn't ideal. I'm gonna have to... Where do I cut the power? It's gotta be here. What would be smart, though, is if I cut the power from this room, and that way they at least have 2 heroes to go through. So, probably a mistake for me to focus on the... Well, you know what, I'm not entirely sure if it was a mistake. I might have been smarter to just move Elise into the crystal room and attack the crystal aliens to begin with. Now, I still think they would have gotten their pot shots on the crystal, and I think what could have happened is the human attacking monsters could have hit it as well. I'm not entirely sure what their attack priorities are, so might have been a mistake, might not. It doesn't really matter at this point because the level is over, and this is an absolute cakewalk as far as getting out of the level is concerned, so I'll just set myself up here. I'm not sure who my fastest hero is. I think it might be John still, but so 25 on Elise, 25 for Warden Mormish, and 28 for John, yeah. So I mean, theoretically I could just have everybody sort of clump up. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put the Warden in this room. Again, there's no reason to do so because the Warden's moving fast. In fact, with Elise in the same room as him, he's actually going to move faster than Elise because of one of his abilities. If he's in the same room as a hero, he moves faster. Basically, somebody's pushing him. But Elise is the combat-oriented character, so I'm basically going to get John to pick up the crystal, beeline to the exit, and Elise will shoot at things. So John's kind of automated at this point, and I'll just make sure that he clears the room before I move ahead. Again, that food replicator, it was a little bit of a waste. Oh, I should see if I can afford something. Do I want to buy any of this? That'd be cool, but I think I'm just gonna use the money to, or use the food to upgrade my heroes. Alright. This hero is not cannon fodder, I need her. Oh, hey Crunklick, sorry, I didn't see when you came in. How's it going? Actually, let me just try and move my chat around. Actually, I can see my timestamps. I'm like 5 minutes late greeting you. Sorry about that. I still need to work out my chat system. I actually don't remember. I think it's 2 floors that you have to survive with. 3 floors. Okay, so I've got 1 down. These are still relatively easy floors, so I'm pretty sure I'll get this unlocked. And then it's basically just running to the exit. At this point, I think level 6 of these I'm okay with, so at this point I think I'm just gonna buff my supports a bit. Are you I didn't know that you'd bought it actually, but are you enjoying it so far? I'm a big fan. Obviously I spent the time writing the guide on it, but it's definitely my kind of thing. I don't think it's maybe I wouldn't rank it in terms of difficulty as Sots the Pit. I think they're sort of different beasts, but I think this has its certain charm. I don't think any of my heroes have repair yet. No, so I really can't afford to have those things running through. Not that I have much of a choice in that case, but... Again, going... No, this isn't full greed, actually. This is the first 3 floors that I'm running on. I'm a little concerned with this door over here, just because I know I'm going to invest a whole bunch into building it up, and then all of a sudden a bunch of terrible stuff is going to come and attack my crystal, but... Much like homework, I'll just set it aside and hope it doesn't bother me until a convenient time. Who gets the wit next level? Neither of them. John is cheaper, so I'll probably upgrade John next. I think what I'll just try and do is make sure that Elise is always equal to or better than anybody else in the party. And then I'll just try and be a little bit more equal in terms of setting this up. And let's go crazy. Oh, nice, another 6 guns, so... That's cool. I actually played it quite a bit in early access, and I think Amplitude is one of the few companies that I actually make an exception for on the early access thing. I think they do a relatively good job of it. I will definitely say, though, that this game is much better in its full form, and I think anybody who waited would be rewarded. I also really liked Endless Space, and I think I will eventually try to pick up Endless Legend at some point. So, certainly, they're a company that's earned quite a bit of goodwill. These things are absolute beasts in easy mode, but very easy. They're not quite as scary. I didn't even remember when they were added in. I just remember one day something terrible happened. Alright, so I really need to protect this food replicator. I'm not sure if I want to open... No, you know what? I'm not going to open doors here. I'm going to protect that as long as I can, and I'm going to open this one. Oh, And I have a chance to, well, we'll upgrade John. And of course he gets wit next turn, so I still think I'll upgrade Elise just because I really need to keep her alive for the unlock. Of course it's only going to be one room. What is it? Radio. What does that give me? Ooh, trading it. Oh, that's such a... Okay, what does Mormish have? Oh, Jesus. Okay, hang on. So she gets minus 100 max HP. I'm gonna give the radio a try. But I have a suspicion I'm gonna regret it. I'm really not crazy about opening these upper doors, but... This is nice, I can sell the 6-gun at least. So... The Fuzi... I'm not... I'd prefer it if I didn't have to reduce her speed, but that extra DPS really is worth it, so... And especially because she's going to be taking, or have less HP to work with, I think that's a nice little way I can buffer that. So I am going to break the rule I set for myself of having Elise be the top level. I think that extra wit, again, I'm going a full greed run, I might as well commit to it. Oh, the exit. And it's not as much of a priority to protect the science anymore, but let's see what I can get anyway. Not crazy about LAN. Tear gas is good. I'll start on that right away. Tear gas is actually what got me my win. Oh, what horrible thing is this doing? Doubling heal cost? I can live with that. I want to use my food to make a super army. Okay, mildly concerning. Very concerning. Wow. That thing's brutal. Saved the science, though. I don't think I've ever used that ability, actually. Okay, I gotta power that. I can't have two sides coming through. This is definitely not an ideal layout for cheesing my way through this. So John's not going to give wit, Mormish isn't, so let's put up Elise. I think she's back to health that she had originally, so... we'll go down. Oh, this is nice actually, so this isn't nearly as bad as I thought. Okay, nothing coming to kill me, and let's gamble. Nice. So the nice thing too is I can sort of cheese my way through a... Actually, the one thing that sucks is I'm probably going to be hurting for industry. I'm probably not going to have enough science in the end actually, but if I did have enough science, I can always just save this door for the very end, and that'll automatically unlock the thing that I wanted. Now I already have the Food Replicator 3, which is the priority for this floor. Yes, please. So this is nice, actually. So I can actually use Elise to work a food module now, and Hikensha can tank the monsters for a bit. I'm probably going to need to run away and use another hero to finish everything off, but I sort of get to protect my primary asset, unless... What's the... 6 and 8. Actually, I'm going to do it the other way around. So Elise will still be working on stuff. Wow, I really wish I didn't spend the food then. Oh well. So Hikensha will actually work the module. I get more out of it. I've certainly put the money into, or the food into Elise. So just as long as I don't do anything dumb, I just need to make sure that I use turtle mode if things get hairy. Another science module. Nothing to come in and kill me. Give more mission upgrade, and he gets wit next turn, so he'll get 2 upgrades. Definitely doing good on economy. Oh, I really like Skroig, actually. I don't remember if Skroig can work modules, though. I think I am going to stay with Hikensha. Well, what do I get for dismissing? 21 food. So it would pay for itself to get Skroig, but I would be losing 3 level. I don't think that's worth it for a drink. Skroig is an amazing character, but I don't think it's worth it in this case. Not a huge deal if the Rockmen start destroying stuff, but I'll still do my best to... This is actually probably the most ideal closing to the dungeon, so... Just want to make sure I'm not doing anything dumb and I missed a door somewhere. Well, looks like it's all good, so... I don't think I can really afford to use up any industry on stuff. The lightsaber would be nice to put on my, you know, my newest acquisition, but well, I couldn't afford 51 industry anyway. And get the extra wit for the next floor. See, I probably could stand to have some more industry for the next floor, but I think I'll be in relatively good shape. As long as I survive that floor, I've unlocked my hero, and I mean, I could just technically quit out of it, but we'll see if we can turn it into a win. It shouldn't be that hard. Can I improve my escape route at all? Let's just see what happens when I... Yes, I can improve it. I will... axe these, and I think I can get rid of that one too. Yeah, I'll lose that one too. I'm gonna have to fight some stuff, but I think I can get through it. So I think Hikensha is the fastest one now. 34, 22, 25, 28, yeah. Crystal Bear, I still think I'll make Elise the sort of the defender, and then John and Mormish can hang out by the exit. So that was not the direction that Elise ran. That really sucks. That's fine. I'll still make it. Alright, could have been better, but... So I know floor 4 is usually on easy, where the game starts becoming a little difficult. You can't just rely on having strong heroes to get your way, or to work your way through. But I think it's usually floor 6 on very easy when things become a little unwieldy. And it looks like the greed strat actually paid off this time around, so that's nice. I am celebrating a little early. There's a lot that can still go wrong, but... And I think I'm going to have 2 people to open rooms for a while, because I suspect I'm not going to get enough industry to make a meaningful impact. Yeah, I've got... Well, only 1 more turn. That's not that bad. So who's most likely to be in combat next? 38 for John, 49 for Mormish, 40 for Kensha. Maybe who's got the weakest defense? That's technically John, but he's the closest to the crystal. I think I'm just going to put this on Kensha. Oh, nice. I think at this point I should maybe consider building an industry module. Magic? This is a science fiction game. $35? Yeah, I'm going to be waiting a while on that industry module, but I think it'll be worth it. It's definitely encouraging the amount of food that I'm generating. I think I can get to level 15 in a fairly reasonable time. Which ultimately translates to more science and industry in later floors, so... That gas is possibly going to be a problem in this room. Oh, cool. So, start building some industry. I mean, 3 a turn isn't... It's not great, but I figure it's... Around this point, there's probably going to be about 20 rooms on a floor like this, so... It's, in this particular case, I definitely get what I'm paying for. Industry modules are really hard to do, though, because at least in terms of food, you can say, well, it may be an inefficient, like it's not a one-for-one transfer of industry into food. You can still say, well, food's just more important. If you build an industry generator and you don't get more than what you paid for it, so like if that thing doesn't generate more than 35 food, so if that thing runs, like, that thing has to run for 12 turns. If it runs for anything less than 12 turns, I just wasted industry. So... that could technically come back to bite me in the ass if I didn't estimate the correct number of rooms. But at this point, it's a low pressure game, right? So I'm not gonna beat myself up if it doesn't turn out. This is gonna be tricky. I think I'm just gonna have to accept that thing's gonna take some pretty heavy damage. Move on. Oh, nice. We got repair. That definitely could have been worse. Who gets wit? Neither of them get wit, so... John ultimately has the highest wit out of any of the heroes, so I'm going to... If I can't improve Elise, then I will put the points into John. I'm not quite sure how I work out Hikensha in this rotation, but I think at this point here I just don't expose that hero to any danger and it'll work itself out. Okay, another... really nice placement for that room. Not so nice placement for the monsters. Oh, but Hikensha gets something, so that's good. I'm a little less worried about these rockmen coming to the room now that I know they can be repaired, but I'll still be careful in terms of the damage. Oh, I wish I was faster on that. I'll still get the gold for this. I just probably could have got 2 monsters worth of the dust rather than the 1. Oh, you know what? I completely missed a room here. This is going to be a pain. Max is a good hero, but I'm kind of full up. I don't really want to I don't want to spend any more on heroes unless I lose one of them. Oh, I should probably give the saber to... There's no negatives to that, is there? Well, technically the attack cooldown, but the DPS is worth it. What does Duelist do? Oh, neat. So if it's one-on-one... I really need to read these passives a little more closely, because there have been a few really good ones that I've missed out on. I mean, I've gotten the advantage from them, but it's just especially when it comes to a... You know, a run that's sort of on the margin. Knowing stuff like that can sort of decide if you make it or not, so... I really shouldn't defend in the food room, but I think I also need the extra firepower. This time, I am going to remember to use this. Definitely taking more damage than I want, but... Be really cool to do some research here, but there's no way I can defend it. And this level's been spawning rockmen all over the place, so this thing's gonna die as soon as I do anything. I think maybe the mechanical pal's the best one to go for. The Tesla module would be really good for these creatures that are always attacking my modules, but I think the mechanical pal, once I get into a crazy industry boom, that'll really, I mean, it'll just push forward the run in the end, so it's a better long-term investment in my opinion. But yeah, that thing would have been toast this turn if I went for it, so I think at this point I just gotta go back to... Where did the lights go? Okay. I think this time I'm going to use the shrapnel. Or no, I don't think I need to. Yeah, they just want to attack the building as long as I get these things killed quick. Oh, this is going to die. That sucks. Well, I'll just pump up my industry. That was really careless. I should have committed to using that earlier. This has been a really good run for heroes. Exit. Probably should upgrade Warmish, but I think I'm getting a little bit deeper, so it's nice to have some of the food as a backup. And stuff isn't spawning, which is nice. I'm feeling a little too lucky, actually. Okay, so this food is still better spent on my heroes, but little window shopping never hurt anybody. Okay, Lucky Rabbit's Foot is not a bad item to get, actually. Actually, both of these are pretty good because they boost wit. So John can't repair. He'll get the tool belt, and Mormish can get the rabbit's foot. Well, or Hikensha, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, so I'm not crazy about the fact I didn't put that food into the heroes, but I think those are fairly good items that are, again, my preference is definitely to go for stuff that's more long-term. And in that case, wit is going to increase my production. I'm still just on the 4th floor, so in this particular case, looks like it's just these. In this particular case, on the 4th floor, I can still get turtle mode and shop. In this particular case, I have several floors worth of production that I can use, and so the combined 3 wit, and it was 5 for the Fraps foot? Yeah. So basically that's an extra 5 wit that every single door that I open is going to be generating extra food and industry for me. And the nice thing is that it's, you know, once I get a Kip cannon and I start putting that into science, that's going to improve my ability to defend against things. So I'm still trying to take the long view on this stuff, so I need to be careful with Elise this time though, because I've got 3 turns with that turtle mode down. So I think at this point I just run away. If I can avoid it, I'd rather not have Mormish get involved, but I'm gonna lose another one. That sucks. Okay, well, he doesn't need to defend anything, so. Again, not the most efficient use of all of my modules, but... Did I build anything else? Nope, well... doesn't make any sense to man a module with John because the floor is going to be over next turn anyway. So here, I think I'm just going to get something nice from the science shop and hope I do better on the next floor. So this is just a nice way to cheese out a quick upgrade. Alright. Unlocked, and nothing's coming to kill me. This is going to be a little tricky to get to the exit, I think, but... No, you know what? That could be worse, actually. So it's just, I think, how much space? Oh. What I do need to do is make sure I've picked up all of the dust. Probably would have got that on my way out, but... Not that one, but this one here. It's probably better just to do that all now, though. I don't really know why I bothered, actually, because it's going to go away next turn anyway, but... I think I'll even things out. I really don't want a hero to die unnecessarily, so... That's kind of a silly defense, so let's go... It's not that good either. I think that's manageable. So this time... Yeah, I think I'm just going to do the same thing I did last time. I shouldn't be bothered too much by monsters, I don't think. As they come rushing in. only time I'm glad that they're focusing on the crystal carrier and not the hero. I can't remember, did I unlock her, or is there one more that I need to do? Yay! Okay, so that's my last hero that I needed to unlock. I'm happy. I can completely train wreck this run if I wanted. I think... Where am I in the broadcast? Exactly 1 hour, so I'm going to take a minute to get up, stretch. I think I will try to refill my tea. Just 3 minutes of your time. I encourage you to do the same. Thank you for coming out tonight, and let's try and turn this into a winning run. I'm not sure what I'll do after that, but let's at least see how far we can get with this. So I'll just add a title to explain where I am. I think OBS is also getting a little bit more stable, so I can actually afford to put some... Can afford to save some things. Alright, thank you for your patience. I'll be back shortly. Alright, thank you for your patience. The water is still boiling, but something tells me I will be able to get up in this turn-based game to deal with the water situation. Let's see what's behind the door. Toxic clouds. I still think this time around I'm gonna go heavy on the food. I will... How am I gonna manage? What I'll do, I think I'll put food on Food will be for the heroes who are able to work modules. And I think in the first available room I will build at least one industry module like last time. Okay, that's either really good that they're going to be safe, or really terrible that Elise is on her own for dealing with problems. I'm thinking the latter, to be completely honest. Nope, that's boiling water. A moment of your time, please. My, what a stimulating broadcast. Alright, thank you for your patience. This is a shade loud in my headphones. I still need to work out a better audio system. Okay, so the problem that I have with this current setup is that I've got 3 heroes that are okay at combat. They're definitely my support roles in terms of building resources. Now, I've already unlocked this hero, so I'm not too worried about the whole death thing, other than just the fact it'll end the run, which I could, and really should, win. Let's see. Okay, Akensha gets that one. John gets this. So, I mean, I'm outfitted quite well. The challenge here is that my crystal is a big target right now, because I only have enough power for the rooms where I'm working, and it has nothing to do, like, they're not in any defensive position at all. So, well, okay, that's a small saving grace. And I think what I'm just going to do here is I'm going to put up an industry generator like last time. This thing is almost certainly going to die, which sort of sucks, but I'd much rather this thing go down than my crystal, so. And I will just be very cautious in terms of how I go between rooms. I am getting lucky in terms of these dust finds, though, so... What I'm missing right now is a kip cannon, because I'm getting a lot of science, and I know my strategy definitely tends to be... It relies quite heavily on building kip cannons, so... I should maybe invest a little bit more in science right now, but it's a very difficult purchase to justify at the moment. So, I'm getting some good levels on these heroes, though. I think if I can get Elise to level 15 in the next couple of floors, I'm going to be in a very good position. Okay, that monster just speak of so far. One thing I do notice that they changed from the early access version, I can't even remember, it was probably about halfway through. Oh, that's so good to get. This is gonna be really hard to defend, but if I can get that extra industry generator, I'm in a great position for this run. But yeah, there was the change that they implemented in the early access version where it originally was that you could be in a room, so you could go shoot monsters and then you could come back and you'd work the module and you'd get the bonus. Now you have to stay one turn in a room to get the bonus. So it's not as easy to cheese some value. Oh, please don't kill the... Oh, these are all awful. No! All in, come on, you can do it. Alright. But one thing you can still do is switch items, so at least you can repair that. Not, yeah. So this is going to be a pretty hair-raising few turns, I think, but... Oh, tea is ready. I will not need a moment of your time for this, but you will get to hear my audio commentary of getting my tea ready. I am ashamed to admit that during the break, I apparently successfully missed a fairly large basket in which to put the tea leaves, and instead poured them all over the counter. I'd like to blame drinking, but I wasn't drinking. I'd like to blame being tired because of schoolwork, and I am tired, but I didn't do a lot of schoolwork today. So if I'm honest with myself, I missed an easy target because I am incompetent at food preparation. Which is why later on in the stream I'll try Cook Serve Delicious. I've actually been playing quite a bit of Cook Serve Delicious. I think it's a fantastic game, and I have no idea why it's so addicting. Oh my lord! I really want that food replicator. Okay. I will save that. I have 2 artifacts. There's no reason to think that. What kind of... I am enjoying Earl Grey. Very standard, very normal. This is less than ideal, to be totally honest. I think I'm just gonna have to accept that I'm losing that. Because I definitely do not want these things hitting my crystal. Oh, maybe I can save it. With 3, not a chance. Yeah, I mean, I have some slightly more exotic stuff, but you really can't go wrong with Earl Grey. Okay, emergency, everybody's going into this room. It's a very suboptimal plan, but it's the best I had, so... So to avoid that disaster, we'll rebuild the industry. This is probably more costly than it should be, but I will put... Now, you know what? I really only should put 1 hero on industry duty, but I'll at least make it Mormish. The priority really should still be food, but... That really sucks that I lost that artifact, though. I really could have used the extra industry. I'm not entirely sure what I could have done to make that better, though, so... I could have maybe committed the heroes earlier. I also didn't realize that that was the last in this little area here, so I'm gonna have the same crystal defense problem on this side. And it looks like we're only halfway through this level. Oh god, are you serious? Okay, well, everybody's got to get in here. This can't... Again, it's really wasteful to move everybody in, but honestly, that thing can't spend more than a couple turns hitting... You know what? This sucks. I know for a fact I'm going to lose this industry, but... Actually, no. Okay, so Mormish here. I should have made this a food one, but I'm going to put Hikensha... I mean, Hikensha's moved anyway, so... Looks like this is a primarily industry floor now, but that's fine. I just won't build industry in the next couple of floors, I think. Or if I do, it'll only be like one module. I need to come up with a better exploration pattern, I think, because this is definitely a less than efficient way of handling this. Oh, Lord. Okay. I'm pretty sure I can get through this. Okay, that's... Please don't be coming for that crystal. I think I'll just accept whatever damage he's gonna do. Cool. I definitely did not deserve to have that turn out quite as it did, but I'll take it nonetheless. I really like the tool belt as an item. The fact that you can have a portable repair on a hero is quite useful. I really wasted a lot of industry on this floor. It's a sunk cost. I probably shouldn't dwell on it too much. I'm still going to be in good shape for the next level as well. It's just I'm not in like I can ignore industry level. The good news is that Elise is a very strong hero right now, so most of the individual stuff is pretty easy to take care of. Wow, you made it. Okay, I can't actually see if that thing has any health or not, so I think just for safety. Or did it get destroyed? No, Warden's working it, so... Does the Warden have repair? Oh, he does, okay. And I don't really think I need to worry that much about my industry anymore. I guess Hikensha doesn't have it, but... What I probably should be doing here, honestly, is powering down these. You know what? Not worth it right now. If I had to, it would make sense to power down. Well, yeah. You know what? I am gonna power this down, and just hope that Elise can get to where she needs to go in time. At least at this point, I'm kind of really focusing on one part of the dungeon. Still stuff spawning that I don't know. Slightly mad that I didn't get a to power... I mean, if I can power up this room at the bottom, that's ideal, but... apparently the game doesn't want to make it easy. Still doesn't want to make it easy. Damn it. Oh, and you know what? I used all my special abilities. This is really gonna hurt. Okay, Armchair General. Oh, I fired it too early. Let's get some dust out of this at least. Still don't have enough to power. Okay, well, this is going down. This is going up. I can actually afford to do that research too. That's fantastic. So I'll be able to get food level 4, and that'll pretty much ensure my that'll ensure the level 15 all the heroes. There was a food level 4. Okay, so apparently it resets when. What do I want to do with this? I think I'm just going to reset. I don't like any of these. You know, I'm just going to keep going until I find a kip cannon. Okay, tear gas works. Yeah, so losing that artifact really hurt me. I didn't just lose the science, didn't just lose the industry, but I lost the level 4 pod. It's unfortunate. I probably went a little overboard on both Warface and Sacrifice twice, because I know Elise... Oh, you know, she'll have Shrapnelizer for next turn. Mormish will have Armchair General. Okay, as long as I don't blow all my cooldowns on one attack, I should be able to get through this in more or less one piece. I do need to make sure I run back right away, though. Okay, Cryo Capsule's cool and all, but go defend. He's firing this right away. Yeah, I definitely didn't need to do more than one cooldown for that, so... This is just... I always beat myself up for doing dumb decisions, but... The... You know, if that didn't pay off, I'd be saying, oh, why didn't I do both cooldowns or something like that, so... Should maybe just calm the hell down. Okay, I really don't want another hero to come out of this. I'm sure there's going to be a hero that comes out of this, but ideally I'll just get food. Yeah, 20. It's not bad. I'll probably just pump up the Kensha. I think at this point I'm just kind of keeping everything equal between the heroes. Well, something just... Okay, well, deactivated. Of course, it's Mormish's. Let's put him back on food detail. It'd be nice if it was like something like Hikensha's, because it's the lowest width that I have on the team. Well, lowest support width that I have. But again, I suspect the point of the game is not to operate in the ways I would prefer it would. I'm still doing okay for industry though, it's kind of nice. This crystal, which is slowing down my heroes, is a real pain in the ass. Okay, let's just Armchair General this right away, and Warface. I do think it was worth it to fire both of those. I'll never have the counterfactual, obviously, because it could have been that he could have killed those... Is it Kensha he? Or maybe it's a she. Her. Okay, so she might have been able to take the thing down in enough time, but I kind of doubt that. Toothpick. I don't have a hero that needs that. But... I think I'll just try to take them on in the intersection if I can. No, it's too late. They're gonna be... Okay, destruct. And this. No, I still lost the module though. Jesus Christ. So I'm not going to build another module. I think I just have to risk it a little bit. And, what's the best way to handle this? Okay, well at least Elise is moving faster. I'll just see. I mean, I think probably the way to handle this is if there's something that's on its way to kill my crystal, I just move everybody into the crystal room. Oh, you know, I need to research something as well. Okay, get back to the intersection. Oh no. Okay, everybody's gotta get in there. Probably not ideal to fight in the crystal room, but... Okay, let's get my top guys on food and... Yeah, Hikensho and... I think probably what I'll do now is Hikensho is going to be my mobile support for defense. I don't think there's any better way to do this, really. Ideally, I'll get some of the industry out of the work that she does, but I have a suspicion I'm just going to be spawning monsters every time I open a door. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, gotta get... This is probably going to be the end of the dungeon, so I need to make sure I'm researching something. Hopefully I get the Kip Cannon or Food 4. I normally don't like spending the 10 science just to kind of redo my choices, but after seeing how powerful Kip Cannons can get, I'm a little bit eager to at least get one of them. You know what? I'll take a science creator. I usually build those at the end. Probably having the Fuzi equipped is also hurting me a bit. I know it makes her my slowest hero, but I'm also, like, when she does do damage, it's pretty serious, so... Yeah, last floor, so it didn't matter. Okay, this is gonna be a pain in the ass to escape. Okay, I think it's just the same strategy, to be honest. This isn't so bad. The industry I have is pretty good, but when I think about how that floor went, it was definitely one of my most inefficient runs. So. All right, I think that's halfway. Stole floor? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's stole floors. Ooh, 4 doors to the crystal room. Not crazy about that. Oh god. Let's just open one and hope for the best. It might it might almost make sense to open at least one of each and see what I'm dealing with. Now, you know what? Opening one door isn't going to tell me anything, so I think I'll just chance it and go to the left. Oh, I'm looking out for the dust that I need to use. I think I'm gonna do one more food, and then I think one industry and one science is the way to go for this. Does he get wet? Akentra gets wet, so. I think I'm going to do Science Creator first, just because I'm getting more per turn out of that, and I do have a lot of industry right now, so... It'd be cool if I got at least one dust in this room. Got 7. Do I want to use food for any of this? 60 food for some wit. You know, I'm still halfway. I'll go for it. Do I have any items that I'm not... Oh yeah, I can sell the toothpick too. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to buy any more items in this run. I really, really hate this layout because I have the same problem of all my heroes doing support stuff and an exposed crystal. But at least this lit itself, so let's do science for this room. Tear gas 4 is a really good item, and it's so good I'm going to open one of the other doors so it can have some time to research. Please don't kill my crystal. Actually, I think I'm going to go pretty heavy on the science here. Oh no. don't want to move Mormish there. But at least it lets me put him in a defensive position. Again, it'd be ideal if he was working on food, not on science, but... Are you serious? Okay, well, powering this down. Let's get him working on this science module. That's so dumb. I mean, at least I have only one area where monsters are spawning from, but it's a real pain in the ass to have to move a support hero twice. At least I'm not losing stuff. Let's see if there's something worth risking for. Science 3. I like that. Oh, and another science module. Please kill that. Okay, because I don't learn from my mistakes. The industry generator that got destroyed last time. Why not? And the thing I just bought. The exact thing that I just bought. I want a refund. In fairness, the fact that I've got 2 naked artifacts running, this has been a pretty merciful run. Did I build any industry? Yeah, I built at least 1 industry. 30 food, not bad. I think I paid 60, but... I'm still upset about losing the food for replicator, though. I find it hard to let these things go. Rex for the win. I just noticed that you were in here. If you've been here a while, sorry I didn't notice you before. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for watching. Well, I'm not crazy about the monsters that are spawning, but at least she should probably be defending this section. I think I'm very lucky about what spawned. Yeah, I definitely got very lucky. Ah, there's my food for. I think that is one to save when... Well, no, you know what? I've got so many doors to open. Well, we'll see what happens when I can afford it. I'm a little curious if I can just, like, take away the Foozy and then get the movement advantage. I mean, I kind of like that it's these drones that are spawning just because they're fairly easy to deal with, but if Rockmen were to come up, this would definitely be a very different story. Okay, let's armchair general this and get some dust. Probably should have used the dust ability a little sooner, to be honest, but... Okay, let's just go straight for the food replicator. And what else can I get? Nothing. Viral injector. Let's see. Difference of 10 science. I think that's worth researching. At least I have a nice choke point here too to another science. If I have to, I can just go to turtle mode, but I'm pretty sure she can handle this on her own. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna go for the viral injector rather than spend to switch. I don't always use the viral injector. What I really need is a kip cannon, but I'm generating enough science that I'm okay spending a little bit more. There's the kip cannon. So give it one more turn. And I think I just need to move her to the choke point right away. No! As much as I like Oddbot, but... Oh, okay, well, that turned out. So, I don't think I'll research the kip cannon here, just because it's sandwiched in between two spots where monsters can spawn. But I'll definitely research it at this upper one when the time comes, and I'll just move Elise to level 12. Most of these other characters are pretty passive right now, so I don't mind spending the extra food on her. Good for the food replicator. I mean, I think that's only a difference of 1 per module, so really that's only going to translate to an extra 3 for the next turn. 4 for the next turn. But it helps. The sooner I can get everybody to level 15, the sooner I can do stuff like research, science modules, and industry modules only. And what that winds up doing is I can build more defensive structures, I can waste a bunch of industry, and just generally, if I have this nice stockpile of science and a level 4 kip cannon, basically you just set those things up and anything that walks into the room melts. So... Ooh. Yeah, I think she's just gonna need to hang on. Let's strategize this first. As long as these things aren't targeting the crystal, I'm okay with them hurting other industry modules. I'm really not sure how these bloated things do their targeting. I'm happy they do it in a stupid way, but... Okay. Again, because I don't learn from my mistakes, I'll at least take a... Oh, Industry Generator 3. So this is the worst excuse in the world to build something, especially for 65 science when I only have 76. But I haven't been getting a lot of things that attack room or like modules right now, so I'm gonna risk it on the industry generator. I am definitely not gonna be able to move Elise into a place that can defend it fast enough. I'm gonna be basically defending the crystal, but nothing ventured, nothing gained, and I've already got my character unlocked for this, so let's see what disaster happens. Or maybe this will be the last room and I'll get it for free. No such luck. Oh, and an electromagnetic pulse. Okay. Well, they spawn. That's a good news. Let's see. Everything that's being worked still seems to be active. So some good news. Let's further make reckless decisions by powering down rooms close to my science modules, or artifacts rather, and continue to hope that artifact breaking monsters don't spawn. I think I'll write Amplitude a thank you card if I actually get away with this. None of these are very attractive, but I'll at least do Viral Injector. That is mostly precautionary, so I could have just reset the options, but the big thing here is if, you know, most of the nasty stuff is going to be spawning down there, so it'll kill that bottom one with the item which I use, but I'm not going to cry if if I don't get it. Whereas the other two, I do actually want them, so that'll give me enough time to come and defend it. And again, if these are the last couple of rooms, I might get them for free anyway. Okay, so I got a Kip Cannon, that's good. I am genuinely surprised things are not spawning to hurt me. And I'll at least see what my options are. I'm probably not going to be able to afford whatever's on the other end of this, but nothing great, so let's just reset that. Still nothing great, but I think I'll do the tactical head just because I know I'm going to use that at some point. But that'll probably be on the next floor because I have a feeling this one's going to be wrapping up soon. Maybe not. So I think I shrapnelize. Oh, good God. Okay, I hate using food for this, but this is the only thing I can really do with him. At least they're attacking the guy and not the crystal. Yeah, that's not ideal at all, but could have been worse. I'm also going to entertain the hypothesis that there are no module attacking monsters spawning on this floor. How do I want to deal with that? I think it's a lost cause to try and assume that I'm going to be able to block every monster that... Like, I'm not going to be able to shut off every room in this area, so... I just need to hope that Elise can... Oh, just a poison cloud there, too. Well, I mean, it sucks, but I gotta work with it, so... Alright, well, last door, so that's not so bad. What just spawned is... Fortunately, it seems to be the only thing, so we'll just make a welcoming party in this room. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Turtle mode. And... Okay, yeah, so wasted food there, but... Could be worse. Alright, so just shut everything down and do a path straight to the crystal. Or to the exit, rather. Yeah, I really don't have a lot of surplus energy. Okay, I'm just going to move everybody to the exit, and... I still think I need to bodyguard Hikensha, though, so... So at least give her a head start. Yeah, this isn't so bad. I have a feeling my heroes should be at a higher level at this point, but... I think we're due for a change of scenery on this floor. Yeah. Oh, sorry. See. Rogue Pandat. My style of games. This is actually, I was gonna say, this is a little bit different from Civilization, which I think I was talking. Welcome, by the way, Rogue Panda. This is a little different from what I normally play. Wrong. Oh yes, I remember you. So this is a little bit different in terms of Civilization that I was talking about, but I really do like Dungeon of the Endless, and this is actually a game that I wrote a guide for when it was in early access. It was very well received, so when the finished version came out, they made it available for Mac, which I really liked, so I decided to stream that. I'm actually right now trying to unlock some characters. I just unlocked the last one, so at this point here I'm just trying to win the game. This is a fairly challenging game, like you're not expected to actually win it every single time, but it's a pretty good run so far. I don't see any reason as to why this couldn't turn into a win, although I am hitting the point now where it actually becomes... like there could be something that happens in this floor that just wipes me. So I need to be kind of careful, but it should be good. But let's see what's happening. I mean, the great thing about this game is that you never know what's going to be behind the door. So there's only one way to find out. Again, one thing I'm not crazy about on this floor, and I think this is something that they've just changed since the early access version, is there's multiple paths to the crystal. That seems to be happening more and more often, and especially at the later levels, so I'm pretty sure they just caught on to the strategy where you build this one long snake and have a bunch of choke points. So it's good, it makes the game more challenging, but it's suboptimal when you're trying to win. Okay, again, I'm really lucking out on dust here. I have to wonder if this is maybe just a feature of the too easy mode, but I'm not going to complain. Let's keep going for food, actually. So I'm sorry for the people who are watching that this is a little bit repetitive for. I should maybe explain for people who are new to this game what's going on. Food is used to level up the heroes. You can also use it to buy certain items depending on what merchants you run into. But right now I'm just buying a bunch of food generating modules because my heroes are ideally going to be with me for the entire game. And so the investment that I make in them is going to be something that I carry from floor to floor. If I do those investments now, then when the floors get even harder, I'm going to be able to use those resources towards building defenses. Like, there's a defense that gets stronger based on the science that you have. And so if I can remove... basically, if I can remove the obligation to use my food, then I can start focusing on the things that will get me through the last couple of floors. It'll probably make more sense once I start getting to, like, the very end. But... I think you'll see this stuff pay off fairly shortly as well. The maximum level is level 15, and you can see that my heroes are either level 11 or level 12. So it's I'm doing pretty good as far as generating food is concerned. But I think this should really be the floor where I do my big push. And so I'm basically going to build a food module in every room that I can afford one. Maybe one industry module to make sure that I stay solvent. But what can I afford? So 45 for this one, which means it'll be 50, so 95. I'll build one more food module, and hopefully I can build an industry module in the next room. Yes, I can. No, I can't. But I can research something. Yeah, let's go for the tactical HUD. I really need to get dust in this room. Yep, got it. I'll use that to build my industry module. So the one drawback here is I've really extended myself here. Like, any defense is going to be back here. I need to... Yeah, it is a fairly detailed game, I'd say. I mean, again, I like it for that feature. And there are definitely games... There are other guys... Oh, I'm actually seeing quite a few people from the Twitch meetup. Welcome to all the new people who are coming in. We're playing Dungeon of the Endless. There are definitely games of this genre which are more detailed and more complicated. In fact, Krunkalunka, who's in the stream right now, knows me from Sword of the Stars, The Pit, which I would argue is a little bit more complicated than this game. I think this one has a nice balance of... It's challenging enough, especially on its normal difficulty mode, but it's straightforward enough that if you spend a little bit of time with it, it's fairly intuitive. I would argue the tutorial's not that great, which is why I wrote the guide in the first place, but other than that, I think it's a fairly straightforward game. I think it's also a really fun game, so... Let's see what we're up to. I think I should just continue on the path that I'm going right now. It'd suck if I lost this industry module, but out of everything, it's the one I'm most willing to lose, so... This is definitely a pretty fortunate run so far. It'd be nice if I got a little more dust so I could power that room, but I still have a choke point here, so I just move back into the other room and I can defend it. Which I definitely need to do. So that ability I used there is basically just something that enhances my damage. I was able to clear the room. Now, it's going to suck if something similar happens, because I'm not going to be able to use that until 3 more turns. A turn is decided by your ability to open, or well, not decided by your ability, but basically every time you open a door, that's another turn. And so during a turn, you generate industry or food or science. I'm generating 69 food per turn, which is a very high amount by pretty much any standard. But that's basically so I can get all my heroes to level 15. And I definitely want the kip cannon. And a sort of a corny thing that I'm going to be doing in this game is you can get different items for your heroes to give them certain abilities. This tools belt allows you to repair things, and you can trade items between heroes. So I'm just going to equip the tools belt so this hero can repair the industry module. Now that it's repaired, I'm just going to give it back to this guy. So, again, probably not the most honorable way